So, guys, with that in mind, and Brad, we'll go with you first. We have had two playoff drivers win the first two playoff races. Kyle Larson and Tyler Reddick are locked in to the round of 12. Do we have a third playoff driver win at Bristol? And if so, who would that be?
Yes, I think we do. And I'm really tempted to just almost get under your skin a little bit, Doug, by saying Chase Elliott, who finished second there last year. But I know the owner's points don't count here on this show.
They do not count on this show. There are no owner's points awarded.
I'll tell you what. So you go back and look at Kyle Larson's last three races on the concrete at Bristol, an average finish of fourth. And I will have to say, I think we get a playoff driver. I just don't think we get a new playoff driver who hasn't already won in this round, because Kyle Larson seems to be making a pretty good case about how he could make another trip to victory lane and grab that gladiator sword at the end.
All right, so Kyle Larson for Brad Gilly. Kyle Petty, we've had two playoff drivers win the first two races. Do we have a new one?
No.
You going?
No.
No new?
No, it's going to continue to be playoff drivers.
Okay.
This year, I just believe that the quality, the people that we have in here right now, you're not going to jump up there. Nobody's going to take that from them.
But is it going to be a new playoff driver?
It'll be a new playoff driver. Yeah, it'll be a new playoff driver. And this is what, and I'm going to say it's going to be a Penske driver.
Oh.
Okay. It's going to be Blaney, or it's going to be Logano. And I know I'm picking two, but I'm just saying, because the Penske teams have really not shown up. They've not shown up for the last. So Joey got a 5th place finish yesterday with a 20th place car because of that last caution. I mean, he was running along. They had already buried him, the TV announcers, as being out of the playoffs before it. So I think this is a place where it's short, it's aggressive, it's a very physical place, and I think Joey and Blaney rise to this occasion. This is one they're going to have to grab to make a statement for them to say that they can be in the playoffs.
Interesting. I'm going to go in a different direction with somebody who also maybe didn't have the best car yesterday, had a really up and down day, but ended up eking out a top 10, and that's Kyle Busch. And, oh, by the way, Kyle Busch is really, really good at Bristol. Obviously in that 8 car, it'll be interesting to see how good he can be in that car. He's had flashes of brilliance this year, obviously, with wins getting into the playoffs. Hasn't been around as much lately, but I really feel like when his back is up against the wall, Kyle Busch, you add Kyle Busch and Bristol together, and magic happens.
Well, see, I like the Kyle Busch pick too, and and also I think Denny Hamlin's really good this year. And who knows? I'm not going to say it, but who knows? All right, Brad. The 4 below the cut line are Truex, Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse, Michael McDowell. We're heading to Bristol. Do any one of those 4 find a way to get above the cut line?
I think the only one of those 4 that I look at, and it would have to be with the win, would be Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Multiple times a runner-up at Bristol. There's something about this racetrack that just agrees with him. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if I had to pick from those 4 to say someone is going to push their way through, it would actually be Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
All right, Kyle Petty, I think you said earlier you think the 4 that are below the cut line are staying there.
Yeah, but you know what? Brad always makes me think. Which is, and he's right. And he's right. Ricky, the way that they do advance, I'll say this: they're not going to point their way in. I should have clarified that statement. But somebody could win, and I think Ricky is the guy that could win. I think Brad is exactly right. That's one of those places. And I go way back in time when you used to go to Darlington, and Lake Speed ran Darlington like nobody else. And Terry Labonte showed up the first time and was not intimidated. And Ricky Stenhouse just showed up at Bristol, and it just fit right in his wheelhouse. So he is a guy that could win.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that. It's interesting because you look at like Martin Truex Jr., and with him being only 7 points below, you really feel like he's got to points race, right? He's got to try to get as many stage points as he can in every single stage. But when you look at someone like even Bubba Wallace at 19, Ricky at 22, Michael McDowell at 40, they can just kind of throw that out the window and say, okay, we're going to need to do a Hail Mary and maybe flip a stage or do something that the stage points and being up front at the end of these stages isn't as important as setting themselves up to potentially get a win at the end that could advance them to the next round. So out of those 4, I think it is Ricky who could potentially be the one to kind of spoil, but I don't think that's going to happen. It could, but I don't think it's
I'm going to side with Kyle Petty here. I'll probably regret that, but I think the 4 below the cut line stay there. I think Truex, Bubba Wallace. Bubba's never been good at Bristol. Stenhouse has been good, but I think he almost has to go and win this thing at minus 22. And poor Michael McDowell. At 23 starts there, he has one top 10. His average finishes is almost 30th. So I'm not thinking this is...
Bristol's not his place.
All Cinderella stories don't end
but,
well.
you know, you have to factor in when you look at a Michael McDowell, he's been up there in a lot of junk cars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's not always been in cars that were competitive. And so that kind of... It's like going to school... A D pulls your average down a lot further than an A pulls it up.
Yeah.
You know, so he's had a lot of D's at Bristol,
right.
so we'll see how all that plays out. But we'll have all the action of the NASCAR Xfinity race on Friday night and Saturday, and I'm hearing that the place is going to be packed. A lot of folks heading up to Bristol. It's going to be one of the biggest crowds of the year to watch a NASCAR Cup Series race. We'll have all the action.